All right, no Vic today, no Mose today. So it's myself and Rob.
You're
Rob.
stuck with me now.
Oh, stuck. Don't use that word.
Listen, I got to tell you, I always have to fill in for you or the guys that do your job on the shows. I was really excited to I get to work with Kane today.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, right?
It's weird, and I'm excited to do it, especially after yesterday.
Because here's what happens. When Vic and Mose take the day off, we're like, oh, we're good if just one of them are off or something like that. But when I have to take a day off, Vic and Mose aren't getting up at 6 to do my hour, so somebody else has to do it. So it's you or Raj or somebody else. But thank you for coming in, Rob, because I know you are a fan of a football team that disappoints, much like my football team.
Yes.
And look, I'm not even going to say disappoints. The fact that they got to where they got blew me away because I didn't think that they were going to get anywhere close to this level of, Final Four teams this close to a Super Bowl. Didn't think that was going to happen. But I say that because disappointment. And you know what's funny? I'm really not. I'm not that disappointed this morning. That when you get a 17-point halftime lead, that's what kills me. But as far as I'm almost more in defense mode because I'm seeing all these shows this morning talking about fourth down decisions. And I'm like, he's done this all year. If he were to not do that, I think it would be so out of character that you would be he's much easier to criticize if he did the opposite. That if he took the points, because he never did that all year. I want at least, if we're talking about whatever team it is, your head coach, I want you to be in character in the biggest moments and not go into a shell.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Right. And that's why I'm kind of cool with it. It's like, oh, they lost the game because they went for it on fourth and they missed. I'm like, well, they've done it all year and they've won games because of it too. But I can't get too mad.
I don't think that's why they lost the game. I mean,
I agree with you.
You can make that argument if you want, but if you make that argument, you just hate people going for it on fourth down. You're the take the points
when it doesn't work.
You're the take the points guy.
Right.
I mean, that ball, the one ball hits Amon-Ra St. Brown in the hands. Reynolds drops one. I mean, it's not like these plays were, outlandish that they would pick up this fourth down. It's 4th and 14 or something like that. It is who the Lions are. And I think the question you always have to ask yourself when you're talking about going for it on fourth down or playing it conservative is who has the better team?
Yeah.
And
where are your strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, San Francisco coming out of halftime, they took that field goal on that drive. And even Kyle Shanahan in the postgame press conference said, I felt like maybe that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But you're the San Francisco 49ers. You're the 1 seed, and you've got talent all over the field. And so you take the field goal and you say, I'm going to trust my team to put me in a position to win this game still. If you're the Detroit Lions and you've got a 17-point lead, you're thinking to yourself, I got to go for the kill shot here, aren't you?
It's exactly what he was doing. He didn't say this out loud, and we got the audio. We can run it in a little bit. But all I was thinking was that first, after halftime, San Francisco gets the field goal. It's 24-10. So they're at the 28, I think, this fourth down when they're at the 28. So a 45-yard field goal, which, by the way, the Lions kicker is not great. There's no guarantee he makes that anyway.
Didn't he miss one last week against the Bucks? That was
yes.
48?
Yeah, well, and look, if you have Justin Tucker, then different conversation, right? Because you're guaranteed 3.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you said. He goes, if we get this first down and put it in the end zone, the game's over. We've killed them. And they just didn't get it. And then a whole bunch of nonsense happened immediately afterwards, which is you have an interception that hits your DB in the face mask that pops in the air and basically is a touchdown catch now by Ayuk. The next drive, the first play, you fumble inside the 25. That's where it all went off the rails. And I could point a lot more to, okay, you get a lucky catch off a face mask or you fumble inside your own 25. Those are reasons you lose a ball game. I have no issue with the going for it on fourth down.
I have a bigger problem with him running the ball on third down at the goal line with a minute and a half left than I do with him going for it on fourth down.
I'm actually with you on that.
That's what people should be talking about on the shows today, because if you throw that ball, even if you don't make it, you don't burn one of your timeouts. And you have the ability to – they have to run a full set of downs and pick up a first down.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because I thought the same thing. The one call that he made that I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Was that?
Yeah.
And I get it. It's like
it was such a macho thing, though.
Well, they're really good at running the football, and you're right. He's just like, all right, we're going to give him the ball, and we're going to pound this in the end zone. And then you didn't, and now the game's over if you don't get the onside.
And the same argument could be made for that as the fourth downs. You could say, this is what we've done all year, all grit. This is our whole personality, is that we're going to run the football here and we're going to beat you. Or you could really look at it and say, this is probably not a great decision at this point in the game. If he gets in, then everybody goes, well, they did what they do best and blah. But you just couldn't afford to burn that time out there.
I'm so with you.
Especially with how much time it's taken. I want to talk about that rather than talk about all the fourth downs that they missed, because those are calculated risks that you're taking. That was just a bad decision.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
Bingo. You nailed it. Like you're so right. If they were all on TV this morning saying, why did you run it to burn the timeout so you couldn't get one final stop? Because you're probably still going to onside it anyway. You're going to have to get a score, whatever, time's low, blah, blah, blah. But you could have kept it, and you could have forced a 3 and out and gotten the ball back with, 50 seconds left with a chance to either tie or win it. So there's a lot that we can talk about with that game. We'll get back to it in a second, but I want to go to the AFC side because...
Do you, though? Do we really want to go to the AFC side? Because you said it in the appetizer hour. At some point, you have to stop talking about Mahomes as it relates to these other quarterbacks. You guys started talking about Lamar.
Well, here's the thing about Mahomes. Just quickly, you want to talk about Lamar? Give me 30 seconds. Mahomes is Brady. Like, he's that already. He's already that guy. He is more... Dude, he was... How do I put this? He's peak Brady when Brady wasn't even peak Brady.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he's doing 6 AFC title appearances in a row, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins, maybe 3 now in a couple of weeks. Brady didn't do it this way, though. Like, early in the Patriots run, Brady was kind of like, Teddy Bruschi was talking about it before the game, before the KC game. He goes, Brady early in his career was just kind of take the check down, don't make mistakes, let the defense win the game for you. Like, he wasn't playing MVP level football or putting the team on his back. And Mahomes is doing it, and it's killing me because I found Mahomes very distasteful over the course of this year. Like, I didn't think I could hate the guy, and I hate the guy now for some of the stuff that he did.
How about him, like, kicking the field goal setup and stuff like that?
What was that about, by the way? Why did he do that? What's going on there?
Well, Tucker was warming up on the wrong side of the field, and I'm thinking, is he just trying to get in Mahomes' head?
Yeah.
And so, like, he's throwing his warm-up passes and kicking his tee away as he does it, and then, Kelsey comes over and throws his helmet and throws the footballs. It seemed like Tucker was on the wrong side of the field. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, why is one Raven in the middle of all the warm-up stuff with the Chiefs? Whatever. I'm going to give you the floor. You want to talk about Lamar? Go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about Lamar in terms of Mahomes.
Okay.
Because, Marty said it right before I got on. Like, what do you do with Lamar from here? And I've had to endure these conversations about my quarterback, Josh Allen. Like, what do you do with Josh Allen from here?
Yeah.
How about this is a MJ Bowles type run that Mahomes is on here. It's not.
So you're agreeing with me on this?
100%.
Okay.
You can't talk about this anymore in terms of, like, who's the best quarterback in the NFL. You have to talk about it in terms of these guys have to get through this guy to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And when you look back at legacies, I couldn't tell you the names of the guys on that Cavs team that always lost to MJ's Bowles.
Right.
But there's a reason.
Mark Price. There, I got one.
Your team naming game. Here we go. We're gonna start with Mark Price.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Ewing in the Knicks, Olajuwon. Even people try to take away from the 2 championships that he won because MJ wasn't there. You just can't. And you have to talk about it in different terms because, like you said, there's a witch on the other side. Like, he is a wizard. What else can you say?
I think it's totally fair for people to look at guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, how they perform. And look, after the Bills game, Rob, I was the guy in here saying, why aren't you taking the check down? Why are you going like YOLO hero ball at the end of the game when you could run a little bit more clock? Like, there's stuff you can criticize. And certainly there's a lot to criticize with Lamar. He didn't play great yesterday. But to have these conversations absent of the idea that there is a possible greatest to ever play guy on the opposite side of the field is stupid.
I don't think it's possible anymore.
Like, you have to acknowledge it. And that's why I brought up when in the appetizer, if you guys are just tuning in, what I said was, how many times do you watch Inside the NBA, which is the greatest sports show that exists, but you're watching that, and it always devolves into Shaq busting Barkley's chops over no rings. And at some point, I just want Barkley to be like, not that your era was easier than mine or whatever. You didn't have to play Jordan. Like, Shaq was in this nice little cushy spot in between Jordan and LeBron where there was Kobe and you were his teammate.
Right. You played with him.
You played with the guy that they were all trying to get through.
Yeah.
And at some point you have to acknowledge, like, are these so much disappointments as they are, this guy is the greatest to do it in this generation. You know, he's going to be seen. He's already, to me, a top 5 quarterback who's ever played. And he's 28.
Burrow got him once.
That's it.
That's it.
And
that's literally it.
It took
Brady
them in
got
overtime in the AFC title. Isn't that right? Wasn't it overtime?
I think
AFC
so.
title, they got 3 and out on the Chiefs offense, and then Cincinnati came back and scored?
Brady got him once, and Burrow got him once.
Yeah.
Josh Allen almost had him once, and then he said, no, wait, in 13 seconds, I'm going to score a field goal.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? Like, it was, and, when you look at it, Lamar put up 10 points. Tua put up 7 points.
Yeah.
He's with a different caliber of team now than he was in years past.
By the way, Mahomes only put up 17. It's not like he put up 35 in that game.
Well, we've all been talking about how bad his offense has been all year, how bad his receivers have been. He can't do it by himself, all that stuff. How about how good the defense is?
I know.
He only had to put up 17 points. The only person who scored on him is Allen. Allen put up 24 with 2 drop touchdown passes and a missed field goal.
Right.
He's the only one who scored on that defense.
Yep.
So that makes it really interesting for the Super Bowl matchup, which I know we've got 2 weeks to talk about it. But you've got a quarterback who I don't think anybody thinks is a world beater, but just really efficient, good.
Yep.
And so now you're in a situation where how good is that defense really? Because if they're really actually this good, maybe they shut down all that talent that the Niners have. And all of a sudden you're talking about Mahomes winning another Super Bowl.
Well, not to mention, as we get sort of wrapped up in this idea that the Chiefs offense isn't that good. And I think we're grading on a pretty steep curve here just because we know what the Chiefs offenses looked like in years past.
Sure.
But they aren't like crazy good. But here's where they're really good. Mahomes had 2 guys, or has 2 guys, I think in the past game that he really trusts. Kelsey, obviously, and Rashee Rice has become another guy. In targeting those 2, he was 19 of 20 in the game yesterday. So he'll find his guys, and he'll make it work.
Wasn't he 30 of 31 overall? Do I remember that right?
I think he's 30 of 39, but still incredibly efficient, right?
Right, yeah.
But this is just moving the chains, like just eating clock, like.
And knowing that your defense is as good as it is, at what point did you feel like Lamar Jackson was going to drive that ball yesterday? Because there was no point that I was watching that game thinking to myself, man, they're really going to get going here.
Nope. They had the early touchdown, right? The second drive of the game for Baltimore, and ever since then, it was just 4 plays, 5 plays, 3 plays, 1 play, 3 plays, 7 plays.
Like, you got to talk about the Zay Flowers meltdown, though. I mean, that game changes if he doesn't fumble, if he doesn't have the little taunting call. Like, he melted down. Then he, cut his hand on the bench, punching it.
Can we also stop taunting calls? Because I don't know. It felt like Travis Kelce taunted somebody every time he caught a ball yesterday.
Zay Flowers, he pushed him down after. That was legit.
Understood. I want some consistency. That's
do you want consistency, or do you just want to let them taunt people?
I want actually to let them taunt people.
That's what I think you want.
I want that to be a thing.
Right, yeah.
But if I can't get that, which I won't, then I want consistency.
Come on, the cheetah throwing up the peace sign. Doesn't that annoy you?
No.
I
think that's totally fair. Marty does it to me every day.
It's him, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.